Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to another review. Now this one you're probably a bit surprised on. And that is I'm going to be I'm reviewing another Family Guy episode. Shocker, right? Because I have talked about how I'm kind of not really a fan of the show anymore. I've talked about its bad episodes. And I've talked about, how I don't really, I don't really like, what the characters have become and all that. I just don't like it at all. But I really wanted to come back to this show for you guys. Because actually, I was very curious about this episode that I'm reviewing right now here. See, apparently, Family Guy apparently has killed off another character. Yes, they have killed off another character. Another character they have killed off from the show. And I was thinking to myself, I'm kind of curious to how they were going to handle this. And for my morbid curiosity, I decided to watch the episode. And I want to talk about my thoughts on it. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on it. So if you guys haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 1K subs. We're getting closer and closer. I'm at 559 subs. Thank you for the support. Make sure you guys are still subscribed. Also, if some of my videos get deleted on my playlist, I don't know what's going on. YouTube's acting very funny, so I don't know what the heck's going on. But yeah, some of my videos have been disappearing on playlist. I don't know why. But also, you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And speaking of Family Guy and animation, I also have a DaVinci art, too. So that's for an older audience, so I'll try to draw characters people want to draw. I'm not really doing it because I want to, I'm doing it for other people. So, if you guys have any requests, that's for an older audience, so I'll draw whatever you guys want. Anywho, though, now that I got the introduction out of the way, let's talk about this episode. So, like I said before, I decided to go back to review this episode. I was kind of debating on it, though, because I really wanted to talk about it. But, because like I said, I was curious to how they would handle this character they killed off on the show. I was very curious. So I was going back. I decided to go back, and watch the episode. But I was kind of debating, do I want to go back and watch it? Because eventually down the road, I'm going to be reviewing every episode. I do have that planned. Right now, I'm doing SpongeBob, but I will try to tackle Family Guy, too. And talk about that. Also, I do want to clarify, too, that I also have a bit of a cold or something. I don't know, it's been like this all week. My nose has been all messed up. I don't know what the heck is going on, but it's been driving me nuts. I think it's some medication for it, but it's still messed up. So, yeah, I do want to apologize actually, I did this video before last week, but I had to stop it because I messed it up. Because last week, the beginning of the week, I was feeling really bad. And all that. And I actually didn't have my avatar in the videos that you guys see right there. Hello. Also, I did not have, Also, I accidentally revealed the score not right off the bat, in the middle of me reviewing the episode. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to redo it. If I actually do it this time around, I won't bother, but last time I was like, I'm missing the avatars and all that, so I'm like, I'll just redo the video. So, there's that. But I just want to clarify that, but yeah, But yeah, I have been having a cold and all that, so everything's been kind of messed up. I think it's a cold, I don't know. It's something going around, I have no idea. But, yeah, I actually do want to talk about this episode here and talk about my thoughts on it. So this episode's called The Fat, what is it, lotus? Lotus? Or, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I am just like... See, Family Guy is known to doing this crap. They'll make these weird titles and all that, and, that's how this episode is, too. It's basically just a weird freaking title and all that, you know, it's just like... I don't know, it doesn't make any sense, but basically, if you guys want to know about the episode, like I said, they actually kill off somebody. Yeah, and actually, the way this episode starts out, it's kind of weird. They don't spoil anything. I actually rewind the clip a few times to make sure, because I was like, they have two castics here, like, they looked like they were small, so I'm like, you know, like, because I'll talk about the character who died in a second, but, like, he got, like, killed by a shark and all that, and, there's, like, two castics and all, which, it's basically, it's a very, poor joke and all that, and I'm just like, it's not really funny, it's just, like, it's just stupid, you know, I'm like, it's not, like, offensive or anything, but it's just, like, stupid, it makes absolutely no sense at all, it's just stupid. And that's kind of how it is. It's just a freaking stupid joke and all that. I don't get it. But one thing that also doesn't make any sense is how they start the episode. They start literally the episode showing this off. And then, like, apparently, I think it's like, 2 weeks or 1 week ago? Because I guess they're on vacation on a tropical paradise. For like a couple weeks or something like that. I think it's a couple weeks. It's either 1 week or 2 weeks. And I guess each character is doing their own thing, which would seem like a good idea and all that. Unfortunately, a lot of the shit just feels like it's very boring. It drags on for a while, like, or like it feels like it doesn't go anywhere. One example is, I'll say this, like, out of all the plots, like, I think Meg and Chris's plot is probably the weakest. So Meg and Chris are like, I'll talk about each plot here separate, but I'll talk about Chris's plot and Meg's plot first. So, basically, I guess Chris sees this shirt he wants, so they decide to steal it and all that, and, it really doesn't go anywhere, like, we see them steal the shirt, you know, and all, or to get caught and all that, and Brian's pissed off at him, which, I don't really blame him. I mean, yeah, honestly, Brian, I'm going to talk about Brian in a second here, too, but yeah, I'll talk about that in a second, yeah, basically, Brian's pissed off about them, you know, stealing the shit because it got him in trouble and all, which I don't know why it would be his fault for them stealing a fucking shirt, but I think that might be how it actually works, because I think, employees get blamed for this kind of shit all the time. It's ridiculous, but, like, it's not their fault and all that, it's just, like, I don't know, it's just ridiculous, but, it's basically like, people bitch about, like, let's say, people, like, hurting themselves on, like, equipment, like, play areas and all that, like a McDonald's or something. So, apparently, it's the employee's fault and all that, and, they gotta be in trouble for people being irresponsible and all that, you know, it happens and all that, I kinda do miss when McDonald's had their play areas and all that, too. That was kinda nice, that's kinda why they got rid of that stuff, because of that, but, I know it sounds like I'm getting off topic, but that's kinda what I'm saying is, it's basically a very common thing they do in real life, too, but, so basically Brian gets in trouble because, what Chris and Meg did and all that, and, they really don't focus on it much at all, and honestly, they probably could have, just cut it out of the episode entirely, like, there was no really need for it. However, it does have an interesting reference, though. I think it's Neil Goldman is the name of the place they were at, or the shirt or something. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. So it's interesting they use her, Mort's wife's, name. Now, Mort's wife has been dead on the show forever. Honestly, too, they really didn't know what they were doing with her character either. They killed her off. Quite a while ago, they killed her off. But they make jokes about her sometimes and all that, but so they haven't completely forgot about her, but that's kind of a weird way to reference her character with the brand, but I'm pretty sure that's the brand, but I don't know. But yeah, they could have easily just cut that out of the episode and all that. Another thing I want to point out before I talk about the other plots is, this episode, and this goes for a lot of modern Family Guy, there's no cutaway gags. There are no fucking cutaway gags. Now, I know people have bitched before about Family Guy having too many cutaway gags. But there's, no cutaway gags at all anymore. It's either you'll get cutaway gags sometimes or none at all. Now, to be fair, I have not watched, every episode of season 23 or, 22. But back, back then I did, I talked about my thoughts on Modern Family Guy, because a lot of people were saying it got better. I talked about my thoughts on that, and I noticed watching an entire season, which I think was season 22, there was, hardly any cutaway gags at all. Which is, very weird, because I'm that's the biggest, one of the biggest things Family Guy is known for. Now it's just boring. I'm not kidding. It feels very boring and empty without the cutaway gags, I'm not saying every episode needs, cutaway gags. Even in the earlier seasons, in season 8, for example, Brian and Stewie. Now that's not an early, episode, but that's an earlier one. There's no cutaway gags in that episode either. And, it just focuses on Brian and Stewie locked in a safe. That's the thing, though. They had those back then. But to have them in, almost every episode be gone, that's a bit too much for me. I feel like that's kind of takes away from the show a bit, So, they could have, cut out freaking Chris's plot and Meg's plot, for example, and put a damn cutaway or two in there, I don't know. I just think, it feels very weird not to have them in here. And I don't really like it, I don't... Because I'm there's plenty of shows out there that don't do it, but Family Guy was known for their cutaway gags. I know also, that was a thing too, a lot of adult shows and creators hated Family Guy, South Park, and all of them made fun of Family Guy and all that because, of their cutaway gags, but their cutaway gags back then were funny and they actually led to something, the characters would talk about something they did and it would show it, now they're just gone, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird, but I could do a separate video talking about it, but I haven't really seen a lot of the other episodes, so I don't know, I don't know if I want to make one or not. I might, but I don't know. That said, though, yeah, but I want to talk about more of the other plots now. So, we have another plot, too, where, sorry, I don't know if I mentioned, I mentioned that I have a cold, too, so sorry about that. So, I'm coughing a little bit, too, and all that, but I wish it would go away, I really do. I'm, so sick of that, but I don't know. But I was gonna say, so apparently, we also have a plot where, apparently Peter and Lois and Quagmire are together, and Peter, and Lois and Quagmire are trying to hang out. Peter's apparently obsessed with freaking cake and all that, or was it cake or, no, it wasn't cake, it was pie, I think is what it was, pie? No, wait, it was cake, it was cheesecake, that's right, cheesecake. I made the same mistake before, when I did this video before, but yeah, it was cheesecake. So Peter apparently eats cheesecake, and I guess we spend the entire episode apparently Lois and Quagmire hanging out, which, again, they could have, I said, they could have cut out Chris and, Meg plot and focus on that. They could have done that, but I guess to be fair, that probably would have made the episode more cringe than it already is. But like, it just feels kind of just like they're just spending time. They're spending time in their room and all. I guess eating his cake. Like I said, basically they're trying to make it look like, I guess, Quagmire is trying to cheat on Peter with Lois and all that, and, like, kind of like he did with Cleveland's old wife and all that. But yeah, basically, so that's basically what they do with the plot here. It's like they're trying to do something like that. The problem is, though, is it goes absolutely nowhere, and it's just, again, it's just stupid. It's just apparently about freaking, again, Peter upset about them eating his cheesecake. And I'm like, the jokes are very predictable here. Like, of course he's not going to be questioning that. He's going to be questioning him eating his cake. They're probably were going to be like, they're probably were going to either make up something or like, well, I don't know if they actually did anything else. The episode doesn't make that clear, but they do apparently eat his cake. Because that's actually what leads to one of the characters getting killed by a shark. Apparently they're attracted to this cheesecake. And in the water. Apparently it's just the world's best cheesecake. I actually like cheesecake. I actually do. I do like cheesecake. It's pretty good. But it's good. Yeah, it is pretty good. But I don't know. I don't know about the world's best cheesecake. But apparently, I guess the sharks like it. Peter likes it and all that, and even they like it because they throw it over the boat and all that. But like I said, the whole plot of that is just so stupid. Like, it is very, very lazy, very stupid. Like, and basically, I'll say this too. Joe and Cleveland are also just there too. Like, they actually don't do anything in the episode really. They we got Joe making some class or some stupid jokes and all that. Like, I fucking hate what they did to Joe in Modern Family Guy. He was once a fucking, badass cop and all that, and now he's just a fucking clown. Like I'm not calling him names. I mean, he literally acts like a fucking clown. Like, almost everything he fucking says out of his damn mouth is a fucking joke. To be fair, they do that with Brian too, but Joe, definitely, they do it more with him than Brian. Brian's thing is more, they poke fun of him, with a book and all that. But yeah, that's what they do. They fucking do that all the time. And it's just annoying. Like, it drags, like, I hate what they do with his character, and it drags on, and all at times, and it's very cringy to listen to. Like, his jokes are not even that funny. Like, I fucking hate that. I do. I hate that a lot. And all that. And that's the thing, too. A lot of the characters, and this is kind of what happens to Modern Family Guy. It kind of suffers with this. A lot of the characters are kind of just there. Like, I talked about Lois and Quagmire. Like I think they make a little bit of sex jokes. Like, they have, like, Quagmire with his wang, and Lois is, like, close to, like up against Lois's butt. That's actually pretty funny. But, like, for the most part, they kind of got rid of his sex jokes and all that too. And I mean, I think some people have had problems with Quagmire being, being an unlikable character who screws over women and all that. But they can still make him be make sex jokes and all that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know. It kind of feels kind of funny because he's just basically in the background too. But he does do more in this plot than that, like I said, than Joe and Cleveland do. Honestly, Cleveland, though, I will say, Cleveland's definitely not my favorite. Like, I don't think he was ever my favorite, but in the older seasons, he had kind of more to his character. Heck, he was more of a chill guy. He kind of still is, but, like, he's also kind of just there. Like, they don't really know what to do with his character either. which is probably why they probably gave him his own TV show because of that. But, yeah, I don't know. But that's the thing, though. And that's the thing. A lot of characters are like this. But, I feel like I'm talking more about the characters than the actual plot. But there's really nothing to really talk about. I guess I could talk about probably my favorite of the plot. So, and this is not really much either. But, probably is my favorite. Is Stewie and Brian's dynamic in this episode. So Stewie is being an absolute dick to Brian and constantly bitching at him like he's trying to, like, give him a bowl of fruit. And all that. He puts, like, because apparently Stewie's bitching about there not being berries and Brian's wife, that are strawberries. And he's like, they're not berries that are, like, they have the words berry in it, but they also have the word straw in it, too. I don't know, are strawberries considered berries? I mean, I would say they are if you can, like, I think berries are like the fruits you could just pick off the tree. But I guess grapes would be too, right? I don't know what would be classified as, because I mean, it has the word berries in it, but I don't know. But basically, he spends the entire episode kind of doing that to Brian, and Brian gets fed up with this shit. And I'll have to say, this is probably the, see, a lot of people, I was going to talk about this real quick, so a lot of people were talking about the characters, like, even on Instagram and all that, people are, like, saying, like, I hope it's Brian that gets killed off. Number one, killing off Brian off the show wouldn't change anything. It would really not change anything at this point, because all the characters are pretty much just boring or they're unlikable. You know, it wouldn't really do anything to the show. And second, actually, Brian is probably my favorite character in this episode. Yeah, he is probably my favorite part of this episode. Like, I think he's probably the best character in this episode. I know, right? I mean, we're talking about an unlikable, dick, and all that, who, like, constantly, has these stupid slurs and all that about his book and all that, like, they basically turned Brian into a fucking joke in the newer seasons. Well, by newer, I mean, I guess, like, it's season 8, they kind of started ruining his character. I mean, I guess even before that, they made him, like, an atheist and all that, like, which I guess the atheist thing was more so, I think, about Seth MacFarlane. Now it's just like, he's just a total douchebag, and not very funny and all that, but, I don't know, but, in this episode, though, he's actually probably my favorite character. Which is not saying a lot, because none of the other characters are really that memorable, but, like... but yeah, I like how he gets payback on Stewie by dragging his ass across the room and all that, and we even get a cameo of freaking Consuela in the episode, too. I actually like Consuela. Consuela was a good character. Now, I think she's still voiced by the same voice actor who voiced Cleveland originally. Because if you don't know, I think it's the same voice actor. Because he voices, like, I think Herbert the Pervert and all that, too. Like, he voices some of the side characters. Apparently, I think he still voices Consuela, because she has the no-no, and it sounds... Or either that, or it's just someone sounds very similar. But I don't know, I mean, Consuela, he actually does a pretty good job with her, because she sounds like an actual older gal, but it's actually voiced by him. So I have to give him props. Yeah, I've talked about this before. I do think the whole changing the characters' voice actors with the freaking whole race swapping thing or something like that, it's stupid. Like, it is stupid to me. Like, I don't think it makes any sense. Especially when you got the studio who owns, Disney, out there changing their live-action remakes and race swapping characters all the time, So the whole thing doesn't make any sense, but I don't know. But I think he is still doing Consuela, it sounds like, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised they don't just replace him with a Mexican gal or something, because, again, you gotta match the characters. Even though nobody can see it, I don't know. Like, if it were real life, I could understand that, but they're fictional characters being voiced by, people, so they can't see it, but... I don't know. It's not like they don't have, like I said, they don't have actual black people voicing characters. I mean, Jerome's voiced by, the legendary guy, forgot his name, but he voices, like, a lot of characters. He voices Dark Laser, he voices, Principal Lewis, and all that. I think his name it's Kevin Michael. No, it's Kevin. I don't remember his name. He's a very good actor too, but I don't know. But yeah, I do like that we get to at least get a Consuela and all that, which I think again is our original voice actor. But I don't know. But enough about that. But I was gonna talk about the whole thing about I said Stewie real quick. So Stewie apparently is going like on a hike with these gay people, and Bruce and Jeffrey are also with him too. So they're also with him, because I haven't been following the show too much, but I think I saw they got married, so that's nice. But they're all going on this sacrifice thing, and apparently Stewie is concerned. And if this was older Stewie, like season I would say about season like 1 through 7 Stewie, maybe 8, Stewie would have fucking kicked their asses. Like, I'm not kidding. Stewie would literally kick their asses or put them to sleep or something with a dart. Because nobody would mess with older Stewie. Modern Stewie is so just one-dimensional. He's like the rest of the characters. He's fucking one-dimensional. He's just there and all that, and like, he just goes along with it. I'm like, if you're worried about them sacrificing you, why the fuck are you still going with them? It's just stupid. Like, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense. It's stupid, and I don't know, it just doesn't make any sense. It turns out, though, they were going to the volcano because they were making a sacrifice on their photos. So I was thinking, like, it's gonna be probably something stupid. Like I said, it's gonna be something stupid. Like they were not gonna probably sacrifice Stewie. They were going to probably do something. Like, I wasn't thinking a photo, but I was like, it's gonna be something stupid, and that's what it is. So yeah, the whole episode's like this. It's just fucking boring. It's just stupid. The jokes don't make any sense. Some of the jokes are funny, but even the part where Chris puts the shirt on wrong and not trying to stick it out, that's pretty funny too. But for the most part, the whole entire episode just feels like it drags on and all that, and I don't really like it too much and all that. And one thing I'll say that really pisses me off about the episode, which is probably the biggest problem with this, is the character they killed off. So I keep telling you guys about this character they killed off. And like I said, it's not Brian. And like I said, Brian's probably I don't like modern Brian either, but I don't really like really any of the modern characters. Like I even said, Stewie's kind of sucks now too. But no, it's not Brian they killed off. It is Jeffrey. Jeffrey, Bruce's, just gotten married character. They just married them, like last season or something? I think last season. And they just fucking killed him off. They just killed off him. So they just fucking killed his character off. And that just pisses me off. Now, this is nothing new. Family Guy has done this shit forever. Like, they don't know what to do with the fucking character. They'll kill off this character. They did this with freaking, Derek, Julian's, husband. They were, married and all, and the very next time we see him, they fucking kill him off. I don't really want to spoil too much, but I'm like, what's there to spoil if they just fucking kill him off the next time, I'm kind of saving people a break here, because I'm like, again, because they do this shit, But yeah, basically, yeah, they fucking do this shit all the time. If they don't know what to do with the character, they'll just fucking kill him off. They even did this back in, in season 3 with Mr. Weed. They fucking killed off Mr. Weed because they didn't know what to do with his character, it felt like, and I just hate that. That's one thing I'll hate. I'll say even classic Family Guy did too. Like, it is just so annoying. Like, it is annoying as hell, but that's what Family Guy does. They do that stuff all the damn time. It's frustrating, but that's what Family Guy does. But yeah, they killed off Jeffrey. They killed off Jeffrey, which, by the way, too, speaking to characters and all that, whatever happened to their baby, too? I'm pretty sure they had a baby, because Meg gave birth to a fucking baby. The baby's not there either. I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl, because like I said, I don't remember if I watched the episode or not, but like I said, I pretty much have just checked out Modern Family Guy, but I was kind of curious about this one, like, and all that, but yeah, what happened to their baby? I said Julian's been absent from the show forever, which I think that could be a voice actor thing, because I think she was voiced by a special actress, but they also killed off, well, they've also, like I said, they killed off, when they killed off, they also haven't shown the baby in a while. It's just ridiculous. Like, I hate how Family Guy has all these characters that could make plots with, and then they just don't do it. And that's kind of annoying, Heck, they could do plots they've done in older seasons and just continue them on, But, I don't know. But the thing is, though, with when they killed off Jeffrey, I'm just like, they basically just got married and all that. I'm pissed, but I'm not as pissed as what they did with Derek, because at least they still had him, I think, afterwards. But again, the fact that they killed him off and all that, I'm just like, that's just so stupid. Not to mention that that freaking Bruce doesn't give two shits about, the fact that his fucking husband got killed. Yeah, he just fucking moves on from it right off the bat. Is that supposed to be funny? It's not funny, it's fucking annoying. That's the problem, like I said, with this stuff. I'm like, I hate when they do this shit. Like, it's just fucking annoying. Like, who in the writing room thought this shit was funny, I don't know, but yeah, this whole episode is just kind of it's just boring and all that. It's frustrating. I have to give this one a bad. And of course, when we give it a score, when we give it a score and a rating, we gotta give it a score too. And this episode is getting 8 points. Yes, 8 points. Yeah, this one is really bad. I know the review is kind of long, but for a boring episode, there is quite a bit to talk about. But yeah, this episode is definitely very boring. And the ending is what really lowers the score for me. Like, it already would have been a bad, but the fact that, again, they did that shit with Bruce. That they not only killed off Jeffrey, which was a character that they had just now introduced, but they killed off. Well, he was in the show as a joke for a long time, but he was in the background. But the fact that they actually introduced him in person and they got married and they killed him off, and then Bruce does not give a shit that Jeffrey's dead, and he moves on to it like a big fuck you and all that. That is just so fucking annoying. Like, I get it's a cartoon, but still, that is just so annoying. Like, I hate that. I hate that so much. Yeah, this episode is just dog shit. Like, I hate this episode. It's basically fucking Brian's anus is what it is. Like, it's basically this episode just describes Brian's fucking anus. Like, I would say Brian probably put his fucking anus all over this episode. Because, yeah, that's what it is. It's just fucking, it's dog shit. I hate it so much. I know that was probably a terrible pun, but, that's pretty much all you're probably gonna get out of this. This episode is Brian, smearing his ass all over the place. But, yeah, I will say that's probably the best part of the episode. But otherwise, yeah, they're not gonna get much out of it. definitely very forgettable. Definitely, I don't know if I would say one of the worst episodes, because there's a lot of shitty episodes. But definitely a very bad episode. And definitely why I kind of quit watching Family Guy. But I tortured myself. I tortured myself to watch this episode for you guys. And I did. And, yeah, definitely not really much to it. But, in fact, I think I hate it more than I thought. I knew it was going to be boring, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. But that ending just really pissed me off. Like they could have taken out, like I said, the Meg, or the hell they could have taken out the Peter plot too. They could have took out the Peter plot too. They could have took all this shit out and focused more on the death there. Or hell, they could have not. They didn't even need to show it at the beginning. They could have just showed it afterwards. Like maybe it's supposed to be a parody. I don't know. I will say there's like these drums that play every time they cut to something too, which I will say I'm not a fan of either. I think that's kind of annoying too, but it's not as annoying as I said the ending of the episode, because that's what really brings this episode down on scoring wise. But I don't have much else to say about this, but yeah, this episode definitely just screams Modern Family Guy for you. It really does. But, I don't know, but I'm probably going to go ahead and let things go from here. I'm going to go rest, because I said I'm not feeling good and all that. Anywho, remember guys to subscribe to my channel and all that, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.